Goons of Bellatroon helps you to unfuck yourself.
God gave us PFP projects, so death won't come as such a disappointment.
Goons is the equivalent of PMS and a handgun.
We didn't have 4 Ethereum for coal, so all you get is a mediocre cartoon.
Goons are cheaper than your last one-night stand, and you even make money.
Gob won't make it easier for you to pick up dates. But with the bonus from gameplay, you can afford a hooker.
We'd call it gags of Bellatroon, but we don't lack confidence.
Your bag collection is getting some serious competition, son.
Welcome to Point Blank. This is your host, Panama Crypto. Today our guest is my friend Birb. He does not need any introduction, really. Welcome, Birb. How you been?
I appreciate it. I've been very good. Good to see you, buddy, again.
How's life? How's everything?
Yeah, everything is pretty, everything is pretty tight on time, of course, because there's a lot of busyness overall. Like I'm working day and night, left and right. Myself with my team, on expanding the nest exponentially, like every single year to year, literally just grows 100% on average, right? Per every metric, per every like size, measures, which is very good, of course, but we are definitely preparing for the bear market, which is coming, in my opinion, coming, in the next couple of months. So there's a lot of preparations behind the scenes. Yeah.
How big is the nest right now?
Oh, Nest is actually very, very big right now. There's like about 30,000 active users, right? Not all of them are members, of course, but like there is somewhere between, I believe around like 1,500, like members to the exclusive side of the Birdness, which is amazing. And until the year ends, we're actually planning to have and get like this final stamp of 2,000 people in. That would be like amazing, beautiful celebration. And yeah, this is something perhaps I might be spilling just perhaps too little bit too much at this moment, but there is going to be like a huge event coming up. And for everybody who participated before in the 14th Free Trading Congress that we had, last year for 100K celebration, then in May this year for 200K followers, right now it's actually going with me crossing 400 yesterday. I'm aiming to launch like the biggest event on 500,000. So
how? Sorry to say this. How the fuck do you went from 80,000 followers late last year to 5 times that?
Yeah, good question, right? But I believe that as long as you provide the value to the people, and they actually respect that, and you keep growing, keep developing, I keep learning as on my CMT path to actually increase the value, to become better trader as well, better market technician, it kind of like just attracts people. It motivates people, I assume, to somehow follow what I do and just, keep me somehow on track perhaps. So that's my bet.
You and Scott Melker are the only ones that have seen this growth in the past year. I guess you two guys are fucking crushing it.
Yeah, Scott is a good guy. I mean, I love him. Like personally, he's very charismatic. I met him in Vegas, just the time that we met all together. But by the way, he's like, I'm actually just checking his Twitter. He's actually 590 almost. So he's close to closing 600,000. So it's huge already. Right. And like the only thing I could really wish, I had is this blue fucking check mark from Twitter, so that all those, bastards, come in as impersonators to steal and scam people, so that they don't get the chance to do it anymore. But yeah, Twitter doesn't apparently care
pretty much
too much.
Sucks for everybody in crypto. I saw that you even doxed your first and last name, but you changed that like in the past week or something.
No, so that is actually like, first of all, I've been doxxed for some time already. This is not a novelty, but of course, I kind of like try to change between different forms, different logos, like faces and names as well, like to see what somehow triggers and kicks off the algorithm or the verification on Twitter. That's the goal, right? I really hate seeing 50 DMs a day from random people. saying that they got scammed by impersonators just selling them some mining software or whatever other bullshit. So I'm really sick and tired of that, and I'm trying to get my best, to actually get this blue fucking check mark. And apparently, it's a very shady stuff going on behind the scenes from there, because they're not very consistent about it. They just give it to bots. They just give it to scam bots, scam accounts, and not give it to real people, right? And like you can be quoted in the biggest papers on this planet, like Business Insider, just like I was, or the Forbes is missing perhaps, but they just don't give a flying f about that. That is what hurts, because it shouldn't be me, to be honest, to care about the quality of the platform, of their platform. It should be themselves, who clean up the mess that they allowed to have, right? And it's me kind of like getting direct blame for that, I suppose.
Yeah, I cannot imagine the amount of DMs you get each day, man. I'm like a micro sardine in the crypto ecosystem, and I get a shit ton of DMs.
It's a lot.
Impersonators, people asking for money, people asking for help.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, you know that well. You're very popular as well, so you know that perfectly how it looks on the
So, dude, how do you manage to get married in middle of the fucking bull market? Or you had this plan all along?
Yeah, like me
like you said, fuck it, like I'm gonna get married in the bull market. I'm not gonna do it in a bear market. Congratulations on that, man. We haven't spoken like in quite a while.
Yeah, I mean we are in and out now, but I always appreciate we're coming back as well. But bull market or bear market, to be honest, I wouldn't care too much. That was the time that we just had 10 years behind already of our history together. So it was definitely like some time that we planned that. It was not like anything spontaneous. And yeah, that was a perfect date. In Poland, you have to have your dates ready and know the rentals and everything for the spot, for the place. Well, you have to have everything ready, I guess, a year like in advance. Maybe that's so crowded.
Where do you marry? In Poland?
Yeah, it's Poland. It's Poland, my home country. It's actually very good weather today, which is good because you have to really take the advantage whenever the weather is good. We guys in Poland, as opposed to you guys in Panama, don't have this beautiful this beautiful advantage of beautiful weather. So we have to just take opportunity.
Fortunately for me, today is quite sunny, and this whole week has been sunny, but we're in rainy season, so basically it rains every day. So
really,
it's been quite nice out the past few days.
Oh, I mean, now that you're saying it, sounds logical, right? But like, how does it look like? Is it a lot of rain, like literally a lot of rain, or is it just drizzling a bit?
Depends on the day. Sometimes it downpours for like an hour or so, and it stops raining for the whole day. Sometimes it drizzles for, I don't know, 6 hours. It doesn't stop for weeks. And then on dry season, you don't see any fucking rain in like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I feel that.
So dry season is quite good because you don't have to check out the forecast. Well, basically the forecast doesn't quite work here, but you most of the people here go do local tourism and enjoy themselves during dry season. Quite the opposite on rainy season. But I really like rainy season. I think sunny days are more beautiful because you got more greens, more flowers. The trees look amazing. The animals are out. So
you have a lot of palms, right?
On the beach side.
Well, actually interesting.
In the jungle, you get to see all type of trees and palms and whatnot, coconuts, trees.
Yeah, we don't have jungle in Poland. We don't have it, so I cannot imagine. Yeah.
Well, you need to bring your wife sometime down here.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to do it. I'm actually, Panama, like, and a couple of other spots like Puerto Rico, perhaps. are definitely like places that I would love to visit
There's a lot of nice
whenever
places
they
down
allow.
here. Colombia, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, well,
Mm-hmm.
most of the Caribbean, Dominican Republic, Cuba, Puerto Rico, the small islands in the
I'd love that.
Caribbean, Jamaica. Yeah, it's pretty
I
nice
love
down
that.
here.
Love that.
Hey, bro, so what's up with NFTs? I've seen you post a few tweets about them. You're not quite dipped the whole body in the NFT world. What are you looking at?
Yeah. So for the NFTs, that is like the last wave of the NFTs, that the recent one, that the August one. I completely missed out on that. Right. There are a couple of reasons for that. I mean, I don't really feel any bad about that. I just didn't have enough time to chase and then to understand, the overall market mechanics for for the NFTs, which are very different. If you think about it, there's different type of seasonality when you compare that with regular altcoins or Bitcoin itself. So it definitely would require, like back in the day, would require a lot of time for me to dig into research and to understand, what drives the value in there, aside from the hype alone as well, aside from the vibe, hype, aside from the rarity, of the NFTs that you get, from the visuals, from the authors and everything. There was still some sort of like this secret, this tiny gist that made them so valuable, so expensive at some point. And I just simply decided to wait through the peak, wait through the blow off top, which happened eventually. There was like a day, I think it was early September or before, or late August. There was a blow off top literally where you saw OpenSea volume, Ethereum congestions, of course, and extremely high fees, the network congested and then cluttered. And the NFTs volume, dropping by 90%, I believe, in a couple of days, like on OpenSea. So that was definitely a crash which pulled down as well
That
a lot
was
of
like
prices down.
what, May, June, around that, July.
I think no, I think it was later. It was like August, definitely.
Late
I think
August.
it was August. Yeah, I think it was maybe not like, I cannot give you the date, but it was August definitely. And I mean, one way or another, just decided to wait through the peak, right, in order not to like join on the FOMO train while missing out 100 gains already, and just imagining that, okay, I'm going to chase 101x instead of 100, right, which would make no fucking sense. Because at the same time, I was busy focusing on the nest. I was busy focusing as well on doing the backend stuff, for the family, there were a couple of trips as well, rests. So I just didn't, I just wasn't there really for the NFTs. And this time is different because my focus allows me and my time allows me in a way to focus on the NFTs more. And I do believe, that I mean, in general, with every cycle, with every season, of the NFTs, of the DeFi, peaks of altcoins, at every crypto market, you get different type of maturity, right? The market keeps maturing every time. And I just simply, know that this time it's slightly improved. The time period perhaps between the cycles, like it's very short. That the NFTs apparently have like very high frequency of the cycles. They appear every couple of months. Like in regular art seasons, it would happen twice a year, once a year, May, December usually, right? While for NFTs, apparently this is like the third or fourth cycle we've seen this year. So in general, I do believe that this is the final and last moment, to actually invest anyhow safely, quote unquote, to gain some good money out of the DeFi, out of altcoins, Bitcoin, and the NFTs as well. So now I'm on the NFT train.
Do you think they are a good store of value?
Yes and no. To be honest,
well,
like
obviously the blue chips ones.
Yeah. So blue chips perhaps like definitely more than the shit ones, right? I still believe that they would undergo, the regular cyclicality of the markets and decline on value about 80 to 90%, just like every peak in crypto has. And if that happens, I'm definitely going to load up and expand my portfolio, like with, let's say, with a steady allocation in the NFTs, which is something that I did not plan on this bull market when I was planning a portfolio, years ago. So eventually, I do believe, that some of these NFTs perhaps are going to store the value, but they're not going to be definitely resistant to the market crashes and the blow of tops and the bear market. Not a question. Instead, I'd say that just like crypto, because of its high cyclicality, it's not really, good store of value when you compare that with gold, for example, right? Because gold stores the value in a way that it's not really too volatile, right? And it actually grows just like Bitcoin, with the deflationary, economics of it. Because the less gold there is, the more you mine, the less gold remains out there unmined, and undiscovered. And at the same time, the scarcity improves, and if the scarcity improves, then the price follows, right? So here, Bitcoin and this is the same model that Bitcoin has, which is why it's called digital gold. But eventually, if I were to give any store of value, like assign any store of value, like feature to any crypto, that would be most likely Bitcoin, not necessarily NFTs, I'd say, because just like the more volatile asset you have, the less of a store of value it's going to be if the bear market strikes, right? Everything is good if it's going up, but when things start going south, you're not really happy about it being your store of value. Yeah.
Where do you think we're heading in Q4?
I'm still very bullish. I do believe, that Bitcoin is there to reach somewhere between $90,000 to $120,000, in my opinion. Like 100K is definitely going to be a huge resistance, right? From the psychological point of view, like Bitcoin transitioning from literally 5 to 6 figures. But more than this, it's going to be such high volatility on the peak that I would see, daily candles like $30,000-$40,000 upwards and downwards. And that is when I know, like by the time that the market peaks, I'll have already been probably 80% out of the market, right? I cannot pinpoint the market. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know the perfect date. Like I just laugh my ass out anytime that people ask me, like, could you give me a time for this pump? Or can you give me a time for when Bitcoin fucking pumps? Like, yeah, let me just fucking open my crystal ball and check it for you, right? Like it's so crazy. Like, how can you come up with such strange questions? And so eventually 90 to 120K, in my opinion, is my target point. But at the same time, I really know that on the peaks and on the bottoms, crypto especially is extremely irrational. And like by me saying 90 to 120, I'm not really crossing out of the list or just putting out of the table, the chance of Bitcoin going to 180 or even 200,000. Like, who the fuck knows where it goes when like loads of people and every institution on this planet just rolls in, right? Which is possible on the FOMO train because they are still driven by people who make the mistakes. So eventually, Bitcoin, in my opinion, like the safe guess is 90 to 120. If you think about it, it's like barely 2x from here. So come on, right? Then you have Ethereum, and if Bitcoin realizes this scenario, then Ethereum places somewhere between 15 and 25, I guess. Okay. Of course, this would bring a lot of difficulties, for the network and from the fundamental point of view. At the same time, NFT is pushing, perhaps more on the Solana side rather than Ethereum or ERC-20 because of the transaction fees or any other chains. NFTs pumping heavily. DeFi is lots of DeFi peaks, very high quality DeFi peaks are like still 80-90% down from the highs. So I'm loading the fact that up really out of these, right? And like they have all potential to go like this 100x even, right? I mean, 10x, 100x. This is something that I know we saw in 2017 at the peakish time. And that's something that I would expect to see this time as well, right? You would see a lot of people joining, like in so much bigger market than what we saw in 2017, if you remember, right? So bigger chances, bigger opportunities, more money, and more pumps.
So you're basically taking off the table 80% of your exposure in crypto and putting that in stable coins, and the rest you're gonna let it rip?
So it's not stable coins. I actually have, I choose to have a stable portfolio, right? So I I'm the big fan of gold. I'm a big fan of silver. Silver is one of listen, dude, silver recently has fucking printed signal unseen since 17 years ago or 18. Once every 2 decades, it prints a signal like this, and it's down for the huge bull market, right? So the last time silver was this bullish was literally 18 years ago. So I'm really buying a lot of silver, gold, real estate as well. Definitely some cash. You have to keep your cash. Cryptos, I'm not going. It doesn't mean I'm going to quit crypto. Instead, it of course means it's going to be more protective mode, just like you're saying. Perhaps staking for 16%, API or something, like for USDT. Maybe not USDT because of the legals, but USDC or some other stables. Generally portfolio diversification. I'm planning actually, on getting. I'm very bullish in commodities. Very bullish in commodities. Right, they're doing very well in the inflationary environment, and the commodities are actually store of value when you think about it because of the inflationary environment. And so because of that, the commodity stocks like silver stocks, silver mining stocks, gold mining stocks, and platinum as well, probably copper. You would also see something that is very exotic, for full market as well, but uranium stocks. Uranium is something that is unimaginably crazily undervalued. There were definitely decades of government suppressions about taking down the nuclear reactors and everything, right? And uranium stocks, I think they are still last time I checked, they were 95% down, literally. And it was they can, because they are very rare and they're very exotic. When they pump like 100x as well. It's like crypto, very very exotic crypto type of a stock, So that is my focus. I want to propagate this profits, these actual profits and gains into something that is undervalued. So these profits, this 100x that I collect of crypto, if you put this 100x on something that pumps you 5x additionally, then you have a 500x on top of that, right? So keep reinvesting and recirculating the profits into other market areas. That is what I'm focused on.
I guess you, Macro, CRG, and Shorty are gonna be multi-billionaires. You three are the only ones that I've heard about talking about uranium companies.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of. I think it just I think it just depends who you talk to, but in general, uranium stocks, commodity stocks. I mean, I'm not talking about next month. I'm talking about next years, right? About next 3-5 years. This is something huge, and it's just
long-term plays.
Yeah, this is long-term plays only if you think about it. There's a Bloomberg commodity index, or GSCI, like Goldman Sachs, commodity index. Whatever commodity index you pull out literally on the chart, you're going to see that, just like for silver, you would see this monthly bullish 200. This is literally monthly bullish cross on silver that you saw 50 golden cross on monthly, 50 versus crossing over 200 MA. On monthly, then similar thing you saw on the commodities as a whole per this index, right? Per the futures on this index. And this means that the commodities as the whole industry are going to rip the fuck off, on the literally faces in the next couple of years. This is monthly signals. We're talking about monster giant bull markets that are coming. And they are just getting started because they have just got their confirmation actually. And it takes years until it actually just rolls up. But when it does, you don't need to pretty much do anything, and you're just sitting there, backseat, watching it grow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and also the power shortages across the globe, it doesn't help much to keep those prices down.
Yeah, in what way you mean?
There's been a power shortages across the world right now. Also low supplies on gasoline and propulsion for vehicles. across the States, across Europe, across Asia. So I think we're gonna see like an increase in obviously electric vehicles, and these electric
Yeah, of
vehicles
course.
get powered by what if it's petroleum is being too expensive. Obviously, uranium is gonna fill the gap, the nuclear stations.
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't tell you this much about about it in TV, but there are a lot of countries really hard investing in the in the nuclear reactors, right, and nuclear power plants and just whatever you call that. And like you wouldn't see that in TV because they want to keep the prices low so they can build cheaper and get more money into that, of course, right? But eventually, like, come on, like this is very efficient. I'm speaking like that as a chemical engineer, right? This is a very efficient of a way of actually just getting the energy. This is a very, if we can really find a way to just somehow store the nuclear waste, post reactions, like the side products of the nuclear reactors, then like I promise you, this is not only the cleanest way you can actually just get the energy and the least, I should say, least damaging, I guess, to the planet Earth. And at the same time, this brings the longevity into that, and the like. This is very big energy that we're talking about. So it's very efficient source of getting this energy.
I would disagree on the part of the most clean. Obviously, you have all the renewable energy, solar, wind, the power powered by waves and whatnot. You see the one in El Salvador, the volcanic source,
a volcano. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
To mine Bitcoin. But that's another topic for another podcast with you.
Yeah, I'll be happy to come over and discuss it.
I'm off to my last question for you. Since you're a very busy man, what type of odds would you have in this coming Q4, being as bullish as you are?
Yeah. So I'm well invested in Ethereum. I've actually opened a couple of small leveraged positions on Litecoin, but because they are small, but at the same time, Litecoin is extremely undervalued, just like silver is. This is digital silver, just the way that Bitcoin is digital gold, and there are a lot of similarities and reasons for that. Then Ethereum, Litecoin, I can easily turn this dust, like I call that, this 20-25K whatever, into easy 100 million plus position altogether by just waiting these 3 months. I think that is very possible. With Litecoin just hitting 15 to 12 to 2000, like $2,000 on Litecoin at the peak, whenever Bitcoin just overshoots 120, I don't see a reason why we wouldn't pull that. You see, of course, DeFi's, and I'm well invested in Fair Network. I'm well invested in Synapse Network and Starterra. Also well invested in in a couple of NFTs, right? But there is a great project as well. Kudos. What else? I'm just scrolling through. I usually just don't dig for too much like shit coins. I usually prefer the value, so I would go for Ethereum. I'm well positioned in Ethereum, Bitcoin as well, of course. Some NFTs are coming as well. So that's pretty much it. Long story short, I'm definitely not exposing myself to overinvestment.
What would be your number one advice for Q4?
Good question. I'd say invest carefully and rationally, because we are now stepping in the final stage of the 3-year bull market, which is now coming to an end after this quarter closes, most likely. So for everybody who's joining, I know that 95% of people who would join, they would join at the very peak and watch their portfolio melt down 90%, just literally down to the floor. So I'd say, like, you don't have much time to learn, so just try to learn as much as possible. Don't follow blindly, anything you see or read on the internet, and counter trade the trend, counter trade the crowds. If you see, some Jamie Dimons, or whatever other people, like I don't know, like this JP Morgan's. I cannot remember the surname, but this the CEO
Jamie
of the
Dimon.
manage. Yeah. Just wanted to make sure that was correct surname. But like if you see those people, like those banks and big institutions shouting, $100 million coming for Bitcoin like next week, and the more they shout it, the more news they print out, the more you should get the fuck out of this market rapidly, right? So just counter trade the sentiment. Whenever people get extremely greedy, and they will get extremely greedy within the next months, because the market is supposed to do very well, then this is going to be most likely the time to get out of the market. That's my tip.
And with that, we end our episode. I'm very happy to have hosted you, man. Thanks for coming along.
I appreciate you. Good to see you. Good to see the palm behind you as well on the screen. And yeah, I'd love to visit by, and yeah, on to the next one, buddy.
Hope to have you here soon.
Yeah, likewise. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Until next time.